In this video, we're going to learn how to write absolute value inequalities when we've been given the solution as a graph on a number line. In order to do this, we're going to relate back to what we did with equations. When we did this with equations, we did the absolute value of x minus the center to shift our center, and that was equal to the distance that we went out from the center when we were writing our equation. Just like we did with equations, when we do inequalities, we're not going to dilate. Our x's are always going to have a coefficient of 1. It's just going to be x minus the center, no number in front. Let's look at example number 1. To start out, the first thing we need to do is to figure out where the center of this graph is. If I'm trying to find the center between -7 and -3, I need to find their average. So I add them together and divide by 2 to get -5. That means in our inequality, we're going to have x minus -5 or x plus 5 to shift the center off of 0 5 units to the left. Then we need to know how far out we went from our center. In this case, we went 2 units to the left and 2 units to the right. So 2 is going on the right side of our inequality. The first part, the absolute value of x plus 5, means a number's distance from -5. To decide on the symbol, we need to think, is this a small distance? I'm staying closer to -5. In this case, we are. My distance is less than 2 units away. I don't want an equal to sign because these were open circles on my graph. Another way I can remember this is less than made the and statement, and this distance was 2. If I wanted to write this as a sentence, what I have in full now is a number's distance from -5 is less than 2. Let's try example number 2 using the same technique. First, we need to find the center. The center between 5 and 12 is their midpoint or average. That's 8.5 or 8.5. So when I'm writing my inequality, I'm going to have the absolute value of x minus 8.5 or minus 8.5. Next, I need to look at the distance I go out from 8.5 to get to 12 and 5. If I just do a subtraction or count, that's 3.5 units in either direction. So the right side of my inequality is 3.5. I have 2 solid circles on my graph, so the solid circles tell me my inequality symbol is going to have an equal to. Also, if I think about the distance exceeds 3.5 in both directions because I've gone out more than 3.5. This is greater than or equal to 3.5. Another way I can remember, the outsides were shaded, so this is a great or problem, which means it's greater than or equal to with the solid circle. Pause the video and try the examples on the next page on your own. The center of the first number line was at 2, so I have the absolute value of x minus 2. I went out 4 in either direction, so the right side of my inequality is 4. I have 2 solid points, so I need an equal to with my inequality. And I'm in between the 2 values, so my distance is less than or equal to 4. Check the bottom 4. On these, we have a greater than, because I had the outsides shaded, which was an or, greater than, my distance exceeded 3.5. We have a less than, because my distance was within 2 units of the center. And then for the last two, we have equal to's because there was no shading at all. I simply had 2 points on each number line.